Now I'm going to attempt to outline the setting up of Majestic Aquariums and what that really entailed. Now, in about 1994, I worked for St George Aquariums, which at the time was sort of Sydney's premier shop. It was ran by Laurie and Carol Small, who really did an awesome job and really trained me and really guided and helped me in the industry. Now, after working there for about 5 years, I'd sort of reached the point where I could progress, being a small business, and they were sort of nearing the end of their career, so they really weren't looking at expanding the business. It was sort of almost for sale from the time that I started. And St George Aquariums is long gone now, and I'm sure many people miss it. There's really been no other shop like that. When I left St George Aquariums, they basically had every single species of cichlid in those magical back rooms that they had. And I was very proud to help build that business. It was a established powerhouse. And so then I did end up going out on my own in 1999, and my father sold an investment property that he had. So he'd come up with some money, and then I ended up starting up this business. And at the start, it seemed to do quite well because I was relatively well known, particularly from my time at St George Aquariums. And I was also producing VHS videos at that point, which were getting out there and getting me well known. And I did a lot of writing for magazines and so forth, which was a thing back in those days. So I very bravely got this place. It's a very large warehouse, and Tarrant Point back in those days was just was nothing. It was just like an industrial, just an industrial area, and this shop was designated for bulky goods. So even just getting Majestic Aquariums in this shop was like a bit of an issue. But I looked everywhere for where to start the business, and the fact that this has got a whole lot of parking out the front, and it was a relatively new, fairly well-off area. So I think choosing this was a very good decision. And then I used my dad's money, because obviously in 1999, I think I was about 22 years old. I didn't really have any money, and I was going to be a rock star. And when I was young, I used to tell everyone that I'm going to be a rock star, and instead of spending all my money on drugs, I was going to buy an aquarium shop. And so I went through the Australian Institute of Music, and I still play in bands to this day. I still have not made any money out of bands to this day. So let's say plan A didn't really work out for me. And then when Dad sold that house and suddenly I had some money that I could lend, I grabbed that opportunity and I got this place, and then we slowly started building it. It actually took 9 months for myself and another person involved to actually put the business together to open it. And during that 9 months, a lot of people had sort of heard about it. This is all way before there wasn't really internet or anything back in those days. So word of mouth was spreading. And then when the doors opened, it seemed to get off to a good start. People knew me, I was a familiar face, and we started to build the business. Then, let's say, due to my own naivety and really not understanding what's involved to run a business, I lost all my dad's money. So I had, within a period of years, his house gone. And not only was it gone, I had debts with all the suppliers. And so I had to sort of trade my way out of it. And basically the only business advice I've really got for anyone is just to keep going, because you only fail when you quit. And when it's so bad, you just have to keep going. And at that time, I was working 7 days a week, massive hours a day. And any time I wasn't working, I'd sort of go out and get drunk, which didn't really help too much. And I was living at home. So I'm living at home with my parents. I'd lost all their money. I wasn't in a great shape. Then I basically sort of traded my way out and started to get accounts open again with suppliers and started slowly improving over a matter of years. Then another situation happened. I'm trying not to incriminate anyone at the moment or say names or allude to really what happened, but something else happened and I lost everything again. So I lost the initial money, then I borrowed some more and got the accounts freeing up and got the P&L better and lost all that again. Then I did the same thing again. I just kept working. And then slowly I started getting in a better situation, getting the P&L in a better situation. And then I got the business profitable again. Then I had a very bad situation happen with a job. Once again, all naivety. And I had a job fail and I lost everything again. And when I mean I lost everything, I mean I've got nothing and I've got all these accounts and nobody will give me any stock because all my accounts are maxed out. And it's just an unbelievably terrible situation to be in. When you've got nothing to your name, when you've lost other people's money, and when you owe everyone all this money, it's like, I can't even describe how terrible it feels. Like, you don't feel like a loser, you feel like beyond a loser. And you're a loser that's working your ass off. And you face up every day, and you put on a smile, and you look after the customers, and you look after your fish, and you make it look like you're doing well. And at that point, I actually got finalist for Young Australian of the Year. And here I am meeting the Prime Minister and getting all this publicity in the paper and all that for what a success I am. But I was actually just a shell of a success. I'd actually failed 3 times and I was struggling, just struggling. I worked 7 days a week, except I was go out and party just to sort of, get your mind off it for a minute. Over this time, my health, sort of over a period of years, really deteriorated. I started looking pregnant. I had this big fat belly because I'd work so much. I wasn't looking after myself. I wasn't exercising. My life had no balance. And this went on for years. And then over time, once again, I started to get a better track record with suppliers. I started paying everyone off. And then eventually I got to a point where I'd repaid every cent. I'd repaid all the loans to my dad. This is, I don't know, maybe 15 years it took. Because everyone used to tell me when I started a business that the first 7 years would be a struggle, but after that, everyone would get to know your name and people would respect you and you'd have a real business. I think it took about 15 years for me to not feel like a fake. Because my shop it looked so great on the outside, but on the inside it was just termited. And no one is to blame but me, because I just worked and I worked and I worked. And the problem is I really worked in the business way more than I worked on it. And it's really when I started to get better staff and work on myself and create more balance, and then my business really started to thrive. And your business really are your staff. And since then I've developed some awesome staff who I owe it all to, because those are the people that have allowed me to not just be a struggle. Because the first 10, 15 years of my business was really a struggle. But with the team that I have now and the personal growth that I've had with myself, I'm finally in a position. I would say when COVID came, that's when I got to the point where now I actually have a business. Before I had a job, and I committed my life to that job, and I just worked and worked and worked, and I worked in it, not on it. Whereas now I'm in a position where I can actually sit back and I can actually work on the business, and the difference that has is unbelievable. They say that if you do what you love, then you don't work a day in your life. But I can tell you, I worked a lot of days in my life. But I still love fish and I still love music. I'm lucky that I don't seem to change. I seem to be a pretty simple dude that just likes exactly the same things that I liked when I was young. So I guess what I'm trying to say to other people that are thinking of starting a business is it can be really tough. And a lot of the people that you look up to and you think they are the people that you want to be like, you don't want to be like them at all. You don't want to go what they've gone through. You need to learn from them and I guess respect them and so forth. But if you want to start a business, just be ready. Be ready to commit your life to it. Because people used to say all the time, like, you're crazy, you work so much. Is it worth it? You know, you've got no other life. And only now that I've finally got really good staff and I've finally got a really well-established business, and it's only now that it is worth it. So the only advice that I've really got for someone that's starting a business is don't quit. Just keep going and keep learning and just treat people properly. Like, no matter how bad things are for you, don't rip anyone off. You know, treat your staff properly. Treat your suppliers properly. Treat your customers properly. And just keep going and just keep going and keep going. So basically, life is good now, but that's due to a lot of support. A lot of support from my family, a lot of support from the team I've got, because you can't run something like this on your own. So I really, really thank everyone that's had anything to do with Majestic Aquariums. You know, I'm speechless. I love this business, and I really try not to think about the tough times. I try not to think about when I lost it all. You just got to get smarter. You just got to get better, and you really want to work with the industry, work with other people. And now I've sort of got myself in a position where I'm really spending a lot of time with the PIAA and trying to help other businesses, because, you know, it is very rewarding, and trying to create a business community is really wonderful. So this guy looks pretty happy. Look at him. I'd like to be that guy. So anyway, that's just a little bit of a story of Majestic Aquariums, and I am very happy with where the shop's at. I'm very grateful for the team that I've got and the family that I've got, and I'm very lucky for the opportunities that I've had. But at the same time, the thing that I've done is just kept going. So the only advice that I think I'm qualified to share with you, if you're thinking about starting a business, is just keep going and get ready. Sometimes there's really, really bad times. They're worse. The bad times are worse than you can imagine. When you've let everyone down, you feel like you have, and on the outside you can look like such a success, whereas inside you're hollow and lost. So anyway, I guess if I can do anything I can to help the industry, I'm here. I've also helped my brother build his business, and it's been quite a journey. And thank you if you're a customer of Majestic Aquariums, if you've worked at Majestic Aquariums, if you work with Majestic Aquariums. I just want to say thank you, because it's been a roller coaster. There's been some awesome achievements here at Majestic Aquariums, but then again, there's been some tough times. Obviously, I try not to think about it. I try not to talk about it or anything, but it is what it is. Don't give up.